Huh. Bet you didn't think we was gonna be back this quick, huh? So, like I said, I was gonna do this Mike Zimmer press conference review. We're gonna listen to it. I didn't listen to it. I was doing something, but I see it was posted. I was like, as soon as it get posted, and I got some time. So let's go ahead and see what Zim talking about. I think this is important on how he goes about a lot of things. So we not gonna waste no time. We're gonna get straight to it.
Mike, David Moore, Dallas Morning News. You start by talking about what attracted you to Mike Zimmer and what you expect him to do with this defense from what's in place.
Well, I've always had such great respect for Mike. You know, we've competed against each other so many times over the years. I mean, even going back to New Orleans when Mike was coordinating here in Dallas, and obviously our time in the NFC North. So, really just going through the whole process, post, announcement of Dan getting the Washington job. We kind of had two buckets that we looked at as far as individuals that were tied to the existing defense, and then looking at former head coaches with something that, if you points to my history is a preference that I feel was very important. And then, having a chance to sit down and talk to Mike and I'll let him talk about his time off and so forth. But I just think it's an incredible fit for us.
Is that the other point, especially now that you're a play caller as well, the comfort you have with Mike having been a head coach before and just turning over that side to him?
Oh my God.
There's just so many things that go on, even more so today than, back in 06 when it's, my head coaching career started, that you have to do. And I think if you are going to, there's only so many minutes, so many hours in a day. I know as a head coach, you're responsible for everything, but the reality is you can't be everywhere. And so I think the importance of the leadership role on defense, outside of scheme, calling games, and coaching players, there's so much more that goes on as far as the assistant coaches, and I think it's important. And obviously Mike's experience and success that he's had at every level is, once again, just makes this a great fit.
Zim, Clarence Hill, Fort Worth Star Telegram. How does it feel to be back, and did you ever expect to come back?
It feels outstanding. I mean, I got two grandkids, twins that my daughter has. I'm excited to be around a little bit more. I've always loved Dallas. I've always loved the Cowboys. I've had a chance, a lot of times, Mike and I were on a committee together, so we were able to kind of talk away from football. Back in the day, we're on the John Madden committee. And then, did I ever think I'd be back? I don't know. I always kind of hoped I would be. When my time was off, I'd had some phone calls of going places, and I wanted to be somewhere where I knew people and I trusted people. And so when this opportunity came up, I was excited because the relationship I had with Mike, and even the conversations that we've had since I've been here, telling stories about when we played up in Green Bay or they played in Minnesota, and then with Jerry and Steven and those things. But I've had such great respect. I actually told him the same thing. When I was in NFC North, he was the one I respected the most. They were the best team. They were the most well-coached. Their teams played the right way. And so we tried to emulate a lot of those things, and so that we could hopefully compete against them.
So there was never a thought of retirement or anything like that after Minnesota?
No, not really. Sometimes it's forced retirement, but it's more about getting the right situation for you. Like I said before, I had opportunities.
He said, well coached, huh? I mean, the circumstances is different. What I mean circumstances is he under this Cowboy organization, and he dealing with the soft-ass players, though. But Mike, hey, like I said, Mike ain't exempt because Mike let this go on. That's all I'm saying.
That I could have taken, and but I wasn't going to go somewhere that I didn't feel comfortable with this organization and the people there.
Mike, Todd Archer with ESPN. What do you think of the pieces that you have available to you here on the
Hey, Zim out there looking like, hey, what's that little Star Wars, that little green thing off the Star? You know what I'm talking about? It's a Yoda. Zim a little ugly, mother.
How can you make this defense better than what it's been?
Yeah, well, hopefully I can. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I mean, they've been pretty good. I know there's been some situations where things haven't happened, but that happens in coaching. It happens a lot. So we're going to look at the players, try and figure out the best way to use them, put the scheme together. And again, we want to take the good things that they've done and maybe add a few more other.
You said the best way on how to use them. It's going to be interesting, but that's what coaching do.
Good in the past and try to make this thing manageable where, we're disciplined and we're, well coached. We're
Yes, sir.
Play together as a team. We try to
discipline, well coached, and team. Yes, sir.
Make sure everybody understands their role so that other people on the field can have success doing their job.
Yes, sir. Because we had a whole bunch of people doing that bullshit, trying to do everybody else's job instead of just worrying about their stuff. Yes, sir.
John.
John Schroeder with The Athletic. Specifically, though, with Micah Parsons, what have you thought of him as a player? And does he kind of remind you of any other players you've worked with?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a terrific player. You watch him on tape and he makes some unbelievably athletic plays. At this point in stage right now, I'm trying to figure out, get the coaches in here. We can sit down. And I think one of the strengths that I've always had is to look at players and kind of have a vision for each player and then try to figure out how we can use them in the best way. One of the things I would hate to do right now is to tell you how I'm thinking about playing him without talking to him and letting him think, okay, this is what we're thinking about doing with you, Micah. I don't think I should tell you guys first before I tell him, if that's.
Yeah. And then I was just going to
That's real.
Is there anything that maybe stood out to you the last couple of years that maybe you missed about the NFL?
So basically, is this what you're saying, Zim? Are you saying that I seen the way that you play and there's going to be some changes? That means you're going to be more off the ball? Is that what I'm getting from that, Jim? Zim, I don't want to go ahead and jump to no conclusions. But is that what you're saying, Zim? That he ain't no damn defensive end. You actually want to play some defensive end. Is that what you're telling me, Zim?
Yeah, I mean, you always miss football. I mean, you miss coaching, you miss the relationship with the players, you miss relationship with the coaches. I have, I probably need a little time off just because of some of the things happening with my family. And, that was important to me to take some time to help the rest of my family in some of those situations too. So, but at the end of the day, it draws back in. My dad was a high school coach for 30 some years and, I've been doing this for a long time. So I'm excited to try to get where I can try to help players be better and teams to be better and groups to be better. That's what I try to do. I try to coach every position. I try to show them why it's important to them, and it gets me excited when I can see other players improve, and even if it's just a little bit, improve at one thing or improve at another thing, or how we can all get better together.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas News.
Your boy 11 will benefit by putting some more weight on. I don't know why they asked his ass to lose some weight, especially trying to have him up front. So your boy 11 will definitely benefit by actually being bigger. It's not going to take away from his athleticism. Not if you don't sit over there and put on that extra greasy BS, but I'm going ahead and eating a little bit more, lifting a little bit, that ain't going to hurt him.
He put it in the lab and looked at a lot of different things. Did you do anything similar to what he did?
Ain't he smaller from his rookie year too? At least get back to that.
when he was away?
Well, I did some of that. A lot of it, I did a lot of reflection on what my time in Minnesota, the 8 years, the things that I felt like we did good, the things that I felt like I didn't do as good, trying to figure out, how I can be a better coach in the future. Obviously, there was always some tape watching and things like that. Marvin Lewis and I was a great friend. We did a podcast, and then afterwards we'd sit on there and we'd watch tape together and talk about players and talk about schemes and things like that. But a lot of it was reflection on what I did well and what I didn't do well.
Saudis, The Athletic. Mike, when you kind of look at the way I know you haven't been out that long, but when you look at just the way offenses evolve constantly in the NFL, whether it's the McVays and Shanahans and all that stuff, where have you kind of seen the NFL offenses go, and how do you kind of see your defense fitting?
Yeah, there's a lot of different kind of scheme things that you're starting to see a lot more of the receiver outside motion and with speed going up the field. You're seeing, obviously, in the last few years there's been a lot of the jet sweeps and rocket motions and things like that. So I think that's been a lot of it. We've all talked about the different ways to handle it, and football is an evolving game, whether it's offense or defense, and so it all kind of comes back. The defense catches up, then the offense catches up, and it just kind of goes from there. So without being too specific, I know I'm not, but we'll have ways to combat these things.
Just curious about your thoughts on Al Harris and kind of, as you're putting the staff together, how he kind of fits in.
Yeah, I had a good visit with Al and the rest of the coaches here, and he's, it's up to, obviously Mike has made the decision that these guys are going to be here, and so we had a good conversation that.
Man, hey, my thing is, hey, look, Mike. I understand that you like certain players, and Al, your boy. I understand that it's a Green Bay thing, but allow this man to bring in who he need to bring in. Because that tells me, like, hey, look, I like Al, but I had somebody else in mind, and you can't cry about no results if you can't go ahead and have it his way. If he had it this way and he didn't produce, that's the one thing. But if he ain't having it this way, you can't cry and say, no, this the defense. Let him bring his boys up in here. Because quite frankly, you act like Al Harris is the only good coach in the league. That ain't the question. And then the coaches that you do hold with reverence, they sorry.
Still be here with us, and I'm excited to work with him. And I've heard a lot of great things about the work that he does, and really all the guys here.
Garrett Odell, CBS Sports. Mike, you came up as a defensive backs position coach. What are your thoughts on coaching Jerome Bland coming off a historic year and Trayvon Diggs coming off his ACL injury?
Yeah, well, I'm always excited to coach with good players and good defensive backs. It's kind of was as you said, my baby coming up. I love the technical aspect of that position. I know you guys that were here 18 years ago when I was, you probably saw some of that stuff when I was here, but footwork, technique, hand placement, getting out of the break, shoulder level, all those things. And so, those two guys, obviously I've never worked with them, so I don't know. I've only seen them on tape, but hopefully we can continue to get them better. I know, obviously I've watched some of those guys on tape.
Boy, this is going to be crucial for Bland.
DallasCowboys.com.
Are we going to let Mike answer?
You're doing a hell of a job. Keep it up.
I'll leave you into this one, Mike. Talking about you're looking for the right opportunity to be able to come back to football, being able to link back up with McCarthy and the Joneses. What about those conversations last week and even into the weekend led you to believe that this is the right opportunity?
Well, I knew right away it was the right opportunity. There was another club talking to me, and this is where I wanted to come. And Mike and I had some great conversations on the phone. We had some great conversations, and since I've been here, and and I've always been comfortable with Steven and Jerry. They've been.
We know that. Mike, did you have a conversation with Zim and say, "Hey, Zim, we soft in a motherfucker. Can you fix it? Do you still got it, Zim? You still got it in your heart. You still got it to go ahead and discipline these soft ass players." Did you have that type of conversation, Mike?
Ever since, when I was here way back when. And so there was never a question of whether or not I wanted to be here at all. I probably couldn't think of the 32 teams, more than one that I really wanted to be at.
Uh-oh.
And then, Mike, what are some memories you have from the NFC?
What did he do? Get promised the head coaching position? If Mike don't. Yeah, boy got promised a head coaching position, didn't he?
Is there anything that was talked about last week in passing is kind of a fun memory?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you remember plays and games, but, I think if you would ask anybody during my time in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, the whole staff and so forth, Mike was always the toughest to play against, and I think anytime the division games are the hardest, clearly, but they're always, extra tough against Mike, particularly, just the way he would lay out the defense, the change up calls and, a lot of things in football, everybody has a menu of things you look at, but, he has a great fastball, great curveball, and a sweet changeup. So that's the way I look at it.
Jeff Cole with Fox 4. Mike, welcome back. Two questions for you. You spent some time at the college level the last 2 years. Can you talk about your connection with Dion and what your style is for connecting with young players today?
Yeah, well,
Good question.
First thing is that, Dion and I connected here many years ago. I didn't know him at all. The first time I met him, he basically.
And I'll be honest with you, the personalities of yesterday is definitely easier to deal with today. These kids are just soft as shit. So I mean, as far as the personality, I think it was you probably have a tougher job then. It just can you handle the pressure that he get ready to put on your ass.
With him and the change and all the stuff, and we've become unbelievably great friends. I haven't spent as much time at Jackson State in Colorado as people think. Quite honestly, I was at Jackson State 2 days, and I've never been to Colorado. But we talk on the phone a lot. He asked me a lot of questions about coaching and coaches and coaching and different things. But so. And as far as the second question, there's a reputation out there that I'm a jerk or something like that, which, hey, and it is what it is, I guess. But
talk your stuff.
But, since it was announced that I was going to be here, I've heard from so many players that played for me. Players here, not just defensive backs, but linebackers and defensive linemen texted me and said how happy they are for me. And I think if I was such a jerk, I wouldn't be hearing from those guys.
And secondly, you were part of the last.
I thought that was two questions.
One more question. You were part of the last Super Bowl title here. What are your favorite memories from that and appreciation for what that meant?
Well, it's hard. I mean, it was hard. We had, I remember Kevin Williams had to catch a 3rd and 12 or something in order for us to beat the Giants to win the division. And we weren't playing great there at the end. And I used to tell this story to my team all the time. We go out there and we go out to Arizona. I think we play Arizona and we're flying out there and San Francisco gets beat the day before. And the mood of the team just completely changed. And we got Arizona because we knew if we won, we're going to have home field advantage. We go out there and we beat the dog out of them. And from there it was, nice and easy the rest of the way. But, I was a little worried when Pittsburgh onside kicked there a little bit and I think it was the start of the second half and got it. But, that's so much about the mentality of football teams, of just how you're thinking. But, I'm not sure we would have won the Super Bowl then that year if those kind of things didn't happen toward the end of the year. And, obviously it's a great feeling when you win and, Mike's won it too, so he can talk about that.
I love knowing what melts you.
Every one of our 8 weekday meal deals is under $10. Ham and cheese omelet,
Yeah, it is dollar time. Y'all up here booed up, huh?
Brad Sham, Cowboys Radio. Zim, let's go back to even when you first went to Minnesota. The young men coming into the league as players, how are they different? The kids who come into the league now compared to back then?
I think, Brad, the biggest thing is the ones that want to be great, they want to be coached. They want to be coached. There's a lot more social media. There's a lot more of the outside stuff going on. But, the ones that I've been around, the young guys, the ones that want to be great, they want to be coached. They want to study.
Oh, that's where things is going to get ugly. That's exactly where things is going to be ugly. You talk a good game. You talk about how great you is. So, Micah, let's see. You say that you want to be great. Well, then we shouldn't be hearing no bad things coming out of your camp. Am I correct, Micah? Right? Because if we do hear that you've been getting into it, Mike, and all this, that tells me, Mike, if Mike ain't rocking with you, that tells me that you don't really want to be great. And that's going to also give us further confirmation about who you are. Now, if Mike can go ahead and change his boy perspective, God damn it, Mike, you probably need to make Mike a head coach. If he could go ahead and change number 11's perspective on how he viewing being a part of this Dallas Cowboys organization. I'll just be honest with you. But if Dion can like him and everybody else can like him, if Micah can't get with the program, then whew, it's even worse than what we even thought it was.
And how they can get better. And to me, that's what all the great players, they want to know, how can you make me better? And so I think and y'all had Anthony Barr here. I love Anthony Barr. He was a little hurt when he playing here, but he was a young guy and he was terrific, great leader, studied, did all the things, and so we had a lot of guys like that come in there. Now, I coached the Polynesian Bowl high school all-star game a couple weeks ago, and now those guys were dancing between plays, and they had the attention span of about 2 seconds. But I think great players want to be great.
Yes, sir.
Mike, which of your current players do you have the kind of relationship with that they could come up and hit you on the sideline like Kelsey did, and everything would be fine?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about, Brad. I mean, I don't know what. I think just like anything. I mean, I just think sometimes those guys forget how strong they are. But yeah, I've been punched, I've been pushed, and
you got your shit woke, Mike.
Hey, Mike, Pat,
Mike, you got drawn. Hold up, man. Where my head coach get drawn? My head coach got his shit woke. Who done punched on Mike? Because I know it wasn't nobody up in his locker room. Ain't nobody punch on Mike. Which one of y'all in Green Bay? Who, Charlie Woodson the punch? Eddie Lacy. Mike done told Eddie Lacy he was fat. And Eddie Lacy done fired on that boy, man.
Clearly not thinking you're a jerk in your style, but it was Darren Woodson who was at the Super Bowl, your biggest cheerleader, talking about how hard you coached, but the impact you made on him. Those players from those teams, I mean, what's the relationship like? We heard you mention Dion and what he did for you the last couple of years too. How much do you appreciate the relationship with those Cowboys great players that you're now part of this organization again?
No, it's everything. I think that's part of the reason why you coach is to try to develop players and then develop a relationship with them. And then hopefully someday they appreciate what you've helped them do. The coaches can't play for them, obviously.
Yeah, that is a joy.
Maybe you can help them get a little bit better. Charlie Williams called me the other day, which Charlie, he had a nickname that I can't say here, but a lot of these guys, that when you hear from these guys and they call you from, and I've had several Minnesota players call me as well. I think that's, it makes you feel good because, they think about you and they appreciate you.
And if you said that your style is to not be someone who is your friend, is to get the best out of you. How would you describe your coaching style? Has it evolved at all over the years, or
Flores,
same guy you've been your entire career?
Well, I think these guys that have been here saw me 18 years ago. They've evolved. Otherwise, they wouldn't be sitting there. And I think I've evolved too, or otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here. But you know, I'm demanding. I try to get the best out of the players.
Yes.
But, you know, to me, there's a difference.
I would just try to hear key words to make sure that Mike Zimmer ain't go soft. Yes, I'm demanding. Yes, yes. God.
Player who was a terrific player, and you could not yell at him. You had to put your arm around him. You had to talk to him, whisper. He didn't like to be reprimanded in front of people. And so that's what I did with him. And he became a terrific player. Other players, you know, I'd get after, and, you know, probably know some of the names. One of them was here. But I'll say
that's
to Pac-Man Jones, right?
That's got culture right there, my boy. Knowing how to go ahead and get the best and knowing how to reach, that's leadership right there, my boy. That's leadership. That's essential. And a lot of people, you'd be surprised, don't have that. I'm glad he said that. Micah, he need to get yelled at. I'm sorry, that little soft-ass approach that we didn't seen that. That little soft-ass, nah, man. You need to yell at that boy. Yes, everything's going to revolve because, yes, everything is going to be tied to Micah and Zim. Yes, yes. You need to yell at that boy. He ain't never been yelled at. He got to go through that. He ain't never been just, hey, man, I've been called all kind of things from my head coaches in the past. Man, I'd have been called slap dick. I'd have been, man, you stupid mother. But that helped me with my thick skin, though. That helped me with my thick. He need that because he don't have the thick skin. He's been cratered. He's been coddled his whole life and been told that he was good enough. He needs that. Like, this is just talking to him just in not even as a football player, but like Micah as the man. He need that. He need that. Like, all that love. You want love, man. Go get the people that's gonna give you love, but everybody need tough love. Everybody need that. Yo, what you just did, you wrong. That ain't good enough. That's not our standard. You need to pick it up. And how you respond is everything. You're just gonna dig down deep and get the most out of yourself. Dak Prescott. Yeah, man. Everybody telling Dak it's gonna be because his temperament. He need the opposite too. I agree. He need the opposite too. All that, oh my God, we feel sorry. Like, it's just like the way they deal with him, it's like they feel sorry about Fo. Like, oh man, you done been through a lot with your family. You done been through a lot. Okay, we playing football here, though. We playing football. God.
Biggest hugs now when I see him, but we've had our issues, going back and forth, and I think everybody's different. You try to hit the button, however it is to make them better.
Got it.
Kevin Sharon, Dallas Morning News. You talked about how you evolved, obviously, as everybody else has. What has not changed about you since you were here last time?
Competitiveness.
Yeah.
Probably being technique oriented,
yes.
being fundamental, disciplined.
Yes.
Those are the kind of things that kind of get me grouchy.
Yes. Hell yeah. Boy, hell
naturally
yeah.
friendly ingredients that
welcome back, Zim.
Awesomely fresh
God damn it, I wanted to hear that.
A strange new-
I just was listening. I'm like, did Zim go soft? That's what I was just looking for the whole time. Y'all, I ain't gonna lie. Did Zim go soft? Yes. Demanding. Technique. You don't meet the standard that makes me very, very grouchy. I'm going to be the Grinch who stole Christmas. Yes.
Ed Werder, ESPN. If each of you could address when Dan Quinn was a defensive coordinator, obviously created a great emphasis on turnovers and defensive touchdowns. He's dominated that statistic across all 3 years. Does that approach continue here, or do you have to give up something there to be more sound and play, defense against the run and so forth, areas which have been weakness in recent years?
I mean, I don't think so. I think every coach is trying to win the turnover battle. I know that's been, my personal history as an assistant and as a head coach. So how you train it, I think it's like everything in this game. Mike's talked a lot about technique and fundamental.
All this getting turnovers, that's cool and everything. But being stout, going 3 and out, I could say that's probably could be even more important. If you don't, what happens if they being conservative and they taking care of the football and they being real careful? Are you stout enough to get them still off the field? Are you stout enough to put them in them long situations so we can get them turnovers?
Your ROI usually speaks to the energy and what you put into it. But with that, it's also, we're aware of the discipline things that we need to be better at. But I don't think that takes away from our ability to take care of the football and take the ball away.
Hell no.
That's how big a point of emphasis is that for you?
Well, it's always a point of emphasis. And, I do think, if you look at turnovers, typically they come from quarterback hits, overthrows, things like that where quarterbacks make the wrong reads.
Being stout.
Knock the ball out of somebody's hands
Yes,
because
sir.
you're physical. I think all those things kind of.
You see what? Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Being stout.
All those things. And, if you have, in my opinion, I've always felt like you have to be fundamentally sound to get to the football in the right way. And then once you get there, then now it's doing that. And then, if you never hit the quarterback, you're not going to get turnovers. So, obviously we're always going to try and hit the quarterback,
Yes.
I got one for each bite. Zim, I'll start with you. You mentioned how some of these players have reached out to you. Were there some of those players who maybe had to mature a little bit before they understood what you did for them when they were players?
He might have been
And
promised
so,
AC.
What did they say they figured out?
I don't know. He might have been.
So I'll give you a good example. Xavier Rhodes called me probably 5 months ago.
Another good corner that boy done had. But you never know. Because what you're seeing right now is, these young head coaches, cool, but these veteran head coaches is the one that's, man, they making that mark, man. They've been around a little bit. That's all I'm saying. You gotta always have some fresh new blood, of course. Of course. But you gotta have the right fresh new blood. See, DeMeco Ryans, when we talk about the Texas, the way he coaching is the way he played. Camp Lions, the way he coaches, the way he play. Y'all don't want to hear that conversation. Y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all don't want to hear that.
I was on his rear end every day about being disciplined, getting in the right footwork, all this stuff. He became a terrific player, and he called me and he just said, Coach, I know how hard you were on me, but I appreciate what you've done for me and the family and the things like that. And I mean, you hear that,
Yeah, I appreciate the coaching that I got too. Hell yeah.
I probably was too hard.
Even though I didn't like
him.
But it was from other reasons though. But the way that they coached me to play football and was hard on me, didn't let nothing slide. I appreciate that because some of them values I take with me in life.
Times. And so, I think that's, it makes you feel good that, they understand that you're just trying to help them. You're not just out to be a mean guy or something like that. So.
And then, Mike, for you, Jerry talked about being all in. Can you give us your description of what being all in would mean for this organization?
For the organization?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get coaching staff hired right now.
Mike, we ain't trying to hear that soft shit.
We've had some really good teams in the last couple of years. We're disappointed that we haven't reached the ultimate goal, but Yeah, I think it's just, identifying the fact that, it's important to go back.
Mike, you sound hella grateful that you still here, man. Come on, bro. Man, if you gonna go out on your sword. He ain't gonna fire you now. Pop your stuff.
Basics, and that starts with player acquisition, and ability to get the news.
I ain't gonna lie. If Mike underperforms, I could see that he probably won't last the whole year. I ain't even gonna lie. Zimmer might mess around, take over.
Guys in the same room next week, and just make sure we just stay on point and do the things we need to do to make sure that we're winning, and building that confidence and the things you need to do when it comes down to the stretch, in the playoffs, and win and and win playoff games and win championships. So, but as far as everything else, that's the way I took it.
Michael Gelfin, Dallas Morning News.
Like, Mike ain't had no stability. Mike, this is Mike's third defensive coordinator since he's been here. He's only been here, 5 years? This is his third defensive coordinator. Remember that when we go here and we crucify Mike, he ain't had, man. And even the defensive coordinator was undercutting up and letting him down and trying to destruct his job to try to get this job. Because the more and more I think about it, man, the more and more I come to that realization, bro. You telling me that Dan Quinn that trash? I know he trash, but he that trash? Whoa.
What needs to be done in the months ahead to get this run defense to where you want it needs to be, and how will your philosophies guide that?
Well, we got to get the staff together first, and then we got to go through the film. We got to, I hate saying process all the time, but there's a process about getting first off, we got to get all the coaches on the same page. We got to speak the same language so the players can speak the same language. So when they come off the field, they speak the same language to me.
Mike, did you go get rid of that linebacker
this guy did this or that guy did that, and I don't understand what they're saying. So we got to get the communication down first, the techniques down second. We got to make sure that we figure out where the personnel is and put them in the right place, and then get them coached up and let them go. It's too early. I've been here a day and a half now, so it's too early to know a lot of the things that we have to do, but that's kind of the routine that we're going to go through here.
Y'all doing this kind of late, though.
The Fan, Cowboys Radio. How much of the appeal of this opportunity coming back as coordinator is the fact that you do get to just concentrate on the defense and your thing, and not all of those responsibilities that Mike was talking about before as head coach?
Yeah, I think that's some of it, but it's about the opportunity to work with Mike and the opportunity to be here with the Cowboys and the organization. Like I said, Jerry's been great. Steven's a great friend. But the lure was really the football team and Mike. And so I think that was the most important thing. The one good thing about it is I don't have to do these media press conferences every single day anymore. So, which is okay with me.
He wanted to do it by himself. So I think he's pulling your leg.
He just want to be defensive coordinator?
Mike, Joe Witt was with you for a long time. Was that a difficult conversation to have, to say that he was not going to be the guy here before he moved on to Washington, or how did that all play out?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, there's a lot of things that went into, this hiring process, just like any process too. There's a timeline. Obviously Dan was the last guy hired in the cycle. So, and then with that, we wanted to go through a thorough process, and in the timing and the opportunity, frankly, knowing Joe and Erica for the amount of time that I have known them and had a lot of great years together, I think he has a great opportunity in Washington. So, but we wanted to go through a thorough process, and that led us to hiring Mike.
And to fill out the rest of the staff, how long do you guys anticipate that being able to go with a lot of jobs being filled already and people available?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Obviously it's just like any process. There's a lot of phone calls, a lot of conversation. So we're going to be diligent and make sure we're thorough in this process too. So I don't have a timeline, Todd.
Okay. This is for both of you, different questions. Mike, back on the topic of whether or not Zim's a jerk. You were.
Gee, be subtle, would you?
In putting together a staff, I mean, people always talk about putting together a team, but in putting together a staff, how important is it for everyone to have the shared vision, but you want different personalities because players react to people differently, and you want to have them be able to go to different people for different things?
Well, I mean, Mike brings so much to the table, and I think the fact that he's older than me was probably number one. No, and I think too, I think as a coach, and I think you have to establish this at a young age, and because being fortunate to be in the NFL, and I know Mike has seen this too, because we've had some conversations about it. Is the players are different. I mean, society's different. We both have children. He has grandchildren. I have teenagers. So, but I think as a coach, you clearly got to decide: is it most important to be loved or respected? And I've always taken the approach that it is important to be respected, before love. And I think the love comes later because I've found that in my career that, guys probably really don't appreciate you until after the fact more. And that's fine. That's life. But we're all here to win a championship, do a job, and so forth and so forth. So, but I forgot what your question was.
No, just the different part.
He had to win the Super Bowl. He would have to win the Super Bowl because the NFC Championship won't keep his job. Nah, he would have to win the Super Bowl if he's going to keep his job, to be honest. So, even with Mike Zim, I don't know if that's going to – I don't think that's going to happen. He gone.
So I think I was trying to give you a filibuster. Mike needed a break. He's kicking me under the table here. But
I was just going to say amen to what you just said. I thought it was great. Yeah.
No, personalities are very important. And I do think, with his experience, the way he came into the league, his father being a high school coach, those things all very appealing to me. His work ethic, and having a mutual friend in Marvin Lewis, and just the people that you really trust in this business.
They love Marvin.
Having personal experience, I think.
Oh, bro, if Mike go to Mike's, if Mike McCarthy leave and Mike Zimmer's still here, they gonna mess around, bring Marvin Lewis on in their capacity, ain't they? The way they keep talking about Marvin Lewis.
I've called many games against another coordinator in my time in the league too. So all that's important. But the next part is make sure they fit with him in the defensive room, and we still have a couple things on offense too. So you're always looking to do that. But I think it's very important that you choose respect over love. It's nice to be loved all the time, but at the end of the day, it's respect has to be first. We have one rule in our football operations, and that's no disrespect, and that covers everything. Be on time. Talk to people the way you want to be talked to, treat others the way you want to be treated. So, and that's just something I've always tried to live by,
get that soft
especially as a coach.
Here, Mike.
And Mike, you were saying earlier too about
you're football.
Not going to reinvent the wheel, understanding the staff not set yet. You have all the personnel meetings, but in general, do you have an idea of kind of what percentage makes sense to incorporate and change going into this off season, or is that to be determined?
Well, we have, I don't know about percentage, but Mike and I have talked about things he'd like to see a little bit different. And, I've talked to him about things that we've done in the past. And so
like what?
Once we kind of iron things out, at the end of the day, honestly, David, it's about what can the players do? We can
say that again.
Smartest guys in the world, but
what Pinky say? Say it again. Say it again. Pinky, what Pinky say? Say it again. Say it again. Hey man, what can the players do? We talking about a coach this and a scheme this, but what about these players though? Talk your stuff, Mike. What the players do? Not what that Mountain Dew. What the players can do, man. Hell yeah, man. What we talking about here?
If the players can't do what we're asking them to do, then we're not very smart. So I've always felt like, ideas are great and all that, but Okay, what can they do? What can they do, and how proficiently can they do it?
And boy, we don't got no smart football
Thanks
players.
for calling me a jerk, by the way. I'll get him back.
Boy, we might go have to mess around and play that New Boys anthem for Mike. Man, you a jerk. I know. So that means Mike Zimmer will be the next head. Man, hey, because we had talked about that a few minutes ago. I wouldn't be surprised. Hell yeah. Uh-huh. I can agree with that. T-Dub. He gonna start acting a little brand new that Zim on board, huh? He try to adapt and try to be likable, but now Zim on board. Hold up, this ain't you, Mike. What you mean, though, Mike? Now Mike ain't gonna be invited to the barbecue on Saturdays.
But you were here when the Cowboys last won a title, and obviously you talked about coming back, relationship with Mike and being comfortable with Jerry and Stephen. How much is winning again and winning that Super Bowl again the reason why you're back?
There's no other reason. I mean, my grandkids are fine and all that, but I can see them anytime. But I didn't come here to do all the work that we need to do if we're not trying to win a championship.
Come on.
That won 12 games in 3 straight years. They're on the cusp. I think they've done a great job with the personnel on the team. They've got good coaching staff, and I'm just hoping that I can help a little bit, and we can get the players better. But that's the number one goal. I didn't come. Okay, let's be average this year. Let's. No.
Woo, Mike! Anybody talking about language right now, boy?
Mike,
that boy talking about language right now. You ain't coming here to be average. The thing about it is, boy, you got a clean house, my boy. And then you got to, hey, look, Mike, I don't know, because this might be a tall task to ask, but you're going to have to call a defense so cold. You're going to have to call a defense so cold to protect that scrub-ass boy that got the number 4. Your defense and your running game going to have to be so cold for us to even consider championship being a part of what we got going on. So running game is going to have to get top 10. You're going to have a top 10 running game, not top 11, not top 12. You're going to have a top 10 running game. And you're going to have a strong defense. And if we got that, then okay. I can maybe entertain it a little bit. All depends on how we looking. If we can get Dak to throw less than 30 times, okay, we might can consider a little bit. But right now, no. Ain't no championship talk. You done seen the best of Rain Dakota, and it still wasn't good enough. They will have to develop something so cold. I'm talking like you gonna have to damn near have that Baltimore Ravens defense and that running game to combat Foe. And Foe gonna have to get back to 2016 Foe. Hey, look, man, we gonna dink and dunk. You gonna have to dink. Your offense can't be explosive unless you're getting it from the run game. I'm telling you, you're gonna have to almost, and even a kind of like Jared Goff, what he was in, but he ain't gonna be able to make them throws that Jared Goff made in that NFC Championship game because he's not capable. So you're gonna have to continue that formula throughout. And I know you're gonna be like, man, but we can't win unless he make them type of throws in a certain situation. And that's exactly why I say most likely ain't gonna be no championship.
As you go into free agency and the draft to have the say and the kind of players that you want to have your imprint on the defense and what kind of style you want to play?
The one great thing about here, even when I was here long time ago and talking to Mike how it is here, the coaches have a lot of input, and so you can give, we can communicate with Jerry about the things that we're looking for. Can you always get him? No, but it's important. Can we get this player a little bit better? Can we get this player a little bit better? And so it's nice to have the every pick that that you want, but it doesn't work that way. There's offensive guys that have to get picked, and there's defensive guys and guys that aren't in the draft. So we just try to put together the best team we possibly can.
You talked about the process of getting this
You
job
let
and
Mike
everything.
have input over that
I
draft
think
too.
reports started coming out on Thursday that things were close. Just what were these last few days like for you and closing the deal and kind of what happened there?
Yeah, well, my daughter who lives with me was throwing up for 3 days, and she got me sick, so I was in bed for a couple of days, and then the Super Bowl was going on, so we kind of really just slow played it and kind of went from there. So it wasn't any intense negotiations or anything like that. I knew I wanted to be here. I knew they wanted me to be here, and I was told by, oops, sorry, somebody calling for a job. It really was. Yeah, it really was.
Hey, Mike, hey, Mike,
So,
hey, for that.
but we knew
Oh,
we would get it.
man.
I was told we were going to get this thing done anyway, so it wasn't any big deal.
So, did you see Rex Ryan's comments and was there anything?
I see a lot of Rex Ryan comments.
Jeff.
Jessica Mars, DallasCowboys.com. Welcome back, Mike.
Thank you.
I'm curious to how much of the Cowboys you saw last season specifically, and what jumps out for you now that you get to work with that excites you.
Well, I've obviously watched a lot of games, but I watched several games on tape. I don't know, maybe half the season or something like that. Just kind of trying to get a feel of the players and things. But obviously offense is best in the NFL, which I'm not sure I ever had that before. So keep that up, would you? And then defensively, I got some terrific players. I watched a lot of these guys, and and you watch the excitement.
Like who, Mike?
The fans in Dallas. I know they live and die with the Cowboys, but everybody loves the Dallas Cowboys, these fans, and that's part of the draw too, is to be excited about having such outstanding loyal fans that live and die with you every Sunday.
All righty. Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
We sure do. We sure do be living with y'all scrub asses, man. Every goddamn year we get disappointed. You ain't lying about that. Man, what y'all think about this, man? What y'all think? He say the right things. He's saying some of the things we like. But y'all already know we about that action. We about that action. What he say? Dad gonna have to play like Brock. Shoot, man. One thing I just seen that they was a Spag said about Brock is that we had to adjust to Brock because Brock was identifying what we was in. Dak can't play like Brock. Dak can't identify nothing in the playoffs, man. He freezes up. Everything gets too complex for him. He's not big time. Unless they get a year that just out of a body that just Dak just, man, look, this is what it is. They're gonna have to mess with, like, man, ain't no hope. I ain't got no hope. He got to show me. And quite frankly, he ain't showed me nothing to give me even just a little bit confidence that he'd be able to perform. Of course, Dak gonna look good in the season and give everybody hopes up. That ain't what I'm concerned about. Over here in Dallas, man, we out here playing. We worried about championships. We worried about playoff success. We ain't worried about what they doing in the season. We know we can get there, but what we do when we get there has always been the problem. At some point, either Dak is good or bad at this point. He's a finished product. Man, y'all know my stance on Trey Lance. I'd rather take it there. Somebody that's going to be big time. Okay, shoot. Whatever you can't see down the field, you can still take off. Dak don't even want to take off. So, yeah, man. Trey will be replacing Dak a few years. Shit, man. I hope it's sooner than that. Dak would need to have a streak like 2012. Yeah. Exactly. If that's who's gonna be that guy, They're going to keep rolling with Dak. He definitely got to have that Joe Flacco year. Could he do it? I ain't got no confidence that he can. Anything, I guess you could say, is almost possible. But that's exactly what the Cowboys would need. He would need to take that next step. And sometimes, hey, a loser going to always be a loser. And a winner going to always be a winner. No matter what circumstances in. No matter what circumstances going to be in. But, you know, I don't know. Because they say, oh, man, what about the defense? Let's say, for instance, if we had Mike Zimmer this past year. Okay. The offense still wasn't good enough to win, though. That's the point that we're trying to make. Okay, the defense did give more resistance and made it a game. Who said Dak was going to close it? He had that opportunity against the Niners last year when they gave up 19. Oops. So what you mean? So, like, we've been in predicaments where Dak, it was his time to shine and lead us to something, and you couldn't do it. You can't keep asking the defense to go ahead and, even though they sorry as hell, to keep trying to go ahead and make these impossible stops. You can't ask for that. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of formula. Might be tired. Yeah, man. That's one of the sorriest things, man, I could ever heard. But man, we got it. We hear it. We see it. We see it. Hey, we won that playoff game under Kellen Moore too, didn't we? We was running the ball. So they say, hey, look, man, I don't know. This free agency is going to be big because they're going to have to be active in there, especially with the draft capital that we got. They're going to have to be active. So if they think that they're going to go ahead and have the same approach that they've been having, Hey, T-Dub. Hey, I ain't say, hey, look, that came across my mind too. I'm like, man, you got this soft ass mentality. I'm like, we keeping you here because you play well, but shit, you're soft too, man. Like, because remember, you remember, was it the year before we had to tell D-Law to shut the hell up? We just wanted him to play him. As soon as he opened his mouth again, we love this D-Law. We ain't hear too much from him. But man, as soon as he kept opening his mouth, man, that's the last thing we want to hear. It was Kellen Moore. Dak ain't have his coffee that day. It's always gonna be something, man. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hot boy. Yeah. Right. Don't back up nothing. And that's the thing. Okay, we're gonna get some improvement for the defense though. But we still got 4 at quarterback. What they gonna say, man? Foe ain't never had Zimmer. Like, they gonna keep making excuses for this weak ass boy. He weak. He weak. He weak. Bro, like, come on, man. Like, there was games where he choked last year. Like, he weak. We can't run. Oh man, Tony Pollard is even back in the backfield this year. We got problems. Let his ass go. You let Tony go. He ain't gonna cut it. He just ain't it. And plus, I'm not about to pay him no 7-8 million to have that role he had with Zeke. I can go find somebody else with that role. I can always go find me a Tony Pollard. I can always go find me a Tony Pollard and say Mike McCarthy only had 1 year. Quite frankly, Mike McCarthy allowed the Dan Quinn to do him the way that he did. And so if you're going to allow for him to do that and you ain't going to speak up, you a sucker. You soft. We can't roll with you. We can't roll with you. Came back to gotta give block. Oh, Eastside said something. Oh, you talking about the his original comment? Hey, he's always saying some dumb stuff, man. That's for sure. Yeah, man. Good. All I'm gonna tell Mike Zim. Mike Zim can go. Hey, look, if Mike Zim could turn around Michael Parsons, then Mike Zim does need to be your head coach. I ain't even gonna lie to you. He need to be your head. If he get Michael turned around and get the most out of that boy, then he does deserve to be your head coach. Cause that seems, especially with coaching of the day, that seems like an impossible. D'Amico Ryan would send his ass packing. I bet you there's a whole bunch of GMs and coaches that don't really want Micah. They could say, "Oh man, people would love to have Micah." Then where that compensation at? They like, "Oh, people would love to have that." Then where that compensation at? Why ain't nobody try to poach him? Oh, okay. Now you let somebody say that, hey man, this Mahomes contract in and go, well, boy, they would have offered that boy $600 million for Mahomes. Hey man, hey, look, man, on my other channel, other sports channel, if they need me to talk a little bit of Texas, man, because I know they ain't got too much. If they need me to talk a little Texas, tell them I got them, man. Because they need some, you know what I mean? Just let me look at a little bit of film, man. I talk Texas for y'all, man. Oh man. Don't get it this year, then. Rex. Oh. This year gonna be interesting. This year gonna be interesting. It's right. Jordan Love can see it, but everybody else can't see it. This gonna be interesting. This is, and I'm not even talking about like the Zim edition. I'm just talking about how everything is about to play out. How Micah gonna respond? How the offense gonna look? What type of season he gonna get from Dak? What about these other players? Damone Clark. Like that's what I'm interested in. Is he gonna look at Damone and say that's who I want or what? Because that boy regressed to the 10th power. Do you beef up Damone if he wants to keep him? Teflon. So man, there's a whole bunch of man, because he can't sit over here and tell me. He can't sit over there and tell me that all these Cowboy players, he can't sit over there and tell me that he confident in that they all got talent. I know that when he see that film, he said he ain't watched really that film yet. But when he start watching that film, because I know he already watched this week, he gonna be like, man, you gonna see some people gone. I'm like, ooh, that Clark right there. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Lame duck and bringing Zimmer. Yeah, but they waited too long. They let Dan Quinn hold them hostage. Oh, what you gonna do? You gonna take the head coach or not? If he gonna cut, they was gonna bring him back. So it's like that's damn near the best that they can do, unless they went on ahead and gave some picks up or whatever, or pick or however they do it to go try to poach somebody. So yeah, you gotta blame Jerry for that. If they had some other people in consideration and they let Dan Quinn hold them hostage, man. Facts. Mozzie needs to be coached. Ooh, man. If that boy don't get off that ball, man, there ain't enough coaching in the world that can save that. I lowered my expectations. Yeah, we was just watching it. He sounded long in the tooth and just old. I bet anyone here RD is gonna take a step back. Oh man. Oh. If this defense take a step back, ooh, damn. Could it get any worse? I guess the same type of defense, but just with no pass rush. Oh man. Oh man. I'm telling, hey, look, because I know they watch this content. Mozzie, my stance still stands. Man, come up out here. Bro, we gonna take you to all the nice little food restaurants, man. Don't worry, we ain't gonna have no cameras. We just want to feed you, homie. We just want to feed you, get your mind right. You know what I'm saying? Get that mentality right. And then you can come back to Dallas and do your thing, man. You know, get away for a little bit. Come out here, work out, right? You know what I'm saying? And you know, you said you want to get in that you boxing. Don't worry, come pull up to my gym. We good. You know, don't nobody watch football at that damn gym. So everything's strictly boxing. So ain't nobody gonna know you gonna know this big ass. You try to box. You know what I'm saying? So you gonna be good. We just want to feed you. We just want to give you the best shot to try to go in because we done spent a whole lot of resources. So you probably leaving is probably not going to happen because you're a first round pick. So we need to figure Zim gonna have to make it work. He gonna have to coach you. And one thing I know, you see Zim gonna want to beef him up. Mr. Linval Joseph, Pierce, he gonna want to beef him up. He gonna want to beef him up. He sucked in 2000 to 2006. We're too young to remember the 29 points. Chopped on us. Oh shit. Oh. Zimmer, yes, man. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. We hoping it all worked, but I still stick with my stance though, as far as when they was talking about Super Bowl. Hell no. Like I said, if it would have to come with a whole bunch of I think the damage that's done that Dan Quinn has helped caused over these past few years, even though it's always been there. But as far as for where the state is right now, I think that's too much for anybody to overcome in the first year. Even after some of them good Vikings defenses, it's just beating the Seagulls. Yeah, I mean, whew. Mike McCarthy fired after this year anyway. He ain't lasting. I think if Zim have an excellent defensive year, Jerry probably gonna hire him as head coach. Probably. That George Edwards. Man. Hey, man, look. We gotta get if Zim don't work out, we gotta give Terminator his credit. Like, hey, he told us he wasn't gonna work out. I still stick with my stance of this was the best that we can get right now with the current circumstances that we're in. Damn. Whew, we go see, man. We go see, because hey, look, either they gonna take a couple mini steps forward or they gonna take a hell of a step back. About 3 steps. 3 steps back. I think we may not. Yeah. I was thinking about 9 games probably about a 9. I was thinking we probably gonna win like 9. I don't see 12, especially because the only thing they're gonna do is they're gonna what? They're gonna try to bring in some free agents to patch up some of that front. But that ain't what you don't you know that ain't you know what I mean? Like this is thing gonna have to really be remade. They're gonna have to pull a rabbit out the hat. And I think Jerry and them got too much confidence in the players that he's drafted, which is gonna be the downfall in the end. He sound like a grandpa with yeah, I was saying that boy. Hey, what's that? That boy look like that thing off of Star Wars, man. That little green thing. What is it, Yoda? Happy he got a job. I can see that though. I definitely I can see that observation. I can see that observation. He knew Dan Quinn was gonna be gone, whether it be through a can or whether it be through head coach, and he wanted to get. I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. He said some of the right things, but of course we gonna see. Because as I mentioned, was it last night? Was it last night or the night before? It was either last night or the night before. I had mentioned man, a lot what we gonna find out if he doing any remotely any coaching is gonna be how Micah responds. If Micah ain't feeling it and you start hearing them reports, then Mike Zim probably doing some coaching. So if not, then Mike Zim probably kissing some ass. A real running game will help us win at least 10 or 11. Whew. Yeah, physicality from both sides will get us 10, 11. It would. And it probably a playoff win. If they was physical from top to bottom on offense and defense, it'll give you a playoff win. But everything else is probably going to go on 4 soldiers. Damn. 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 I honestly think I don't think that they're gonna let Zimmer do everything that he want to do. I think he gonna be walking on them eggshells. I don't think they're gonna let him do what he gonna do. I don't think so. I think there's gonna be some issues because like I said, he gonna try to put this in. Look at the state. Look at Jerry. Look at the state of the player's mindset. Look at Jerry. All 3 of them factors. It's not too much of a good mix unless Jerry and him is on the same page and he is going to try to instill any type of discipline to this team. Man, that's how we about to watch them. yeah, I do. Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, it will go down. Them turnovers is going to go down. Them turnovers will go down. Will they play good run defense? I believe it'll be better. We gonna see. It's gonna be interesting. Whether it be the meltdown, whether because I had made a statement earlier in this video. I think Mike might get canned during the year. I think he might get canned. I think he gonna get canned. They're like, man, it's gonna be the same thing. This ain't gonna work. I think Mike's leash is gonna be very, very short. And they probably gonna make Zimmer interim head coach. And if Zimmerman goes a little bit farther, let's say make it to the NFC Championship, he's probably gonna be your head coach. And move, yeah. I don't know, man. I think with Gilly, man, I kind of want to get a little bit younger there, a little bit faster there. But with Bland, Yeah, I do believe he need to go back to slot, but I like to get younger and faster there, especially especially with our pass rush. Where there's going to be some adjustments to it. We're not going to keep a lot of these defensive ends. They gone. I think you're going to need some corners that can really, really lock some down. So we got to hope Eric Scott turns into what he's supposed to be. And if he don't turn into what he's supposed to be, then man, that's another fail because we already got to deal with Kelvin Joseph ain't working, didn't work. Deshaun Wright, that didn't work. And if Eric Scott don't work, especially after he done traded up to get him, that's gonna hurt. If we lose to Quinn, oh man. Ooh, I like him, but I think that's gonna cost a little bit too much money, especially with all the needs that they got. That might cost them a little bit too much. And then they put in, if they didn't put that money in the digs, yeah. But that money that they put in the digs and them having two corners that get paid like that, ooh, I don't know about that one. I don't know if they're gonna do that one. Cause he gonna want to get paid. And plus, I think KC gonna retain a lot of them. I think they realize how good they got it, and they gonna try to roll it off till the wheels fall off. Yeah, shoot, tough line, man. I said I owe Killer more that fade. But yeah, man, I'm about to go down there, man. Man, shoot, man, go take Jerry handicap sticker off his motherfucker. Take his handicap sticker off that motherfucker, man, and rip it in half and make him go park farther so we have a longer walk. Man, shoot. Because what they doing, boy, we're going to find out. And I'll be honest with you. We're going to find out early. I don't think it's going to take us no month to get started. No. I think you're going to find out. You're going to find out early. Well, Mike could be at weak side. Yeah, that'll probably be the best thing for him to do. He ain't no Mike. The best thing to probably try to have him do is to go ahead and clean things up, keep him free, and try to have him clean it up. But can Micah even handle the pressure and handle what a linebacker has to do? Because I don't think Micah really went to linebacker school growing up. Like I said, I think he just been out there just playing just off of shore, just athleticism. Athleticism been making them plays. I don't think them eyes is where it should be when I look at him at that linebacker. But that's a good observation. I can agree with that one. Micah say he want to do it, but we gonna see. Then he need to stop talking about them damn 20 sacks, cause that shit ain't gonna happen. You think LV? Hell yeah, man. He might as well hang that thing up. Hang it up. Cause bro, if they bring LV back, oh my god, I'm done. If they bring that boy back, oh, I'm done. But his career should be done anyway. Them neck injuries, man. He keep playing around, man. You see what Ryan Shazier had to, man. He better stop playing and just hang it up. Hang it up. Better hang it up. Cause we ain't got time for linebackers to be catching tackles. We need our linebackers to run through stuff. We ain't got time for that Pokemon got to catch them all type of hitting going on. We don't need that. Yep. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. And if if Zimmer don't remake this linebacker core the way that it should be to be respectable, I know he bullshitting too. Because it ain't enough just to rely on Overshawn. Hell no. Mm-mm. Clark, I don't respect his game, man. He ain't got it. He ain't got it. I don't respect his game. He's soft. When they let that boy, what was it, Darisaw Dawkins from the Bills drag that boy like that. And I mean, that boy got embarrassed. That boy was on Baldinger's Breakdown. That boy was on national TV just getting, boy, that boy took him on a ride. That boy said, Shawty want to ride with me. He should be ashamed of himself, man. He really should. Yeah. I agree. I'm gonna be interesting because if he talking about these great players and he talking about discipline, technique, and all that, then there's a lot of your defense in that front seven is not gonna be there. Fowler not gonna be there. Dortch not gonna be there. Because if you doing all that, now they penny pinching. Kirsten's a go. Oh my God. Oh, tell her. I hope that's just some bullshit rumors on Curse. Especially with the safeties that we already got. Throw Marquise ass back there. You got Marquise, Wanye, Wilson, Hooker, Israel. Bro, what? They don't need no damn safeties. They good. And if they mess around and bring his scrub ass back, Zimmer playing. All he do, man, is got Twitter fingers, man. But ain't about no action. All he did, I felt him more on Twitter than I did on the gameplay. I ain't got time for that soft ass stuff that he on. Every time he was like he insecure about his play, so he gonna start snapping on fans. Man, if you don't sit your ass down somewhere, Curse. For real. Sit your ass down somewhere. Yeah, this gonna be interesting. Some fans with it, some ain't. Terrible. I'm just hope I was for it because of what we of this was the best that we can do at this point. That's why I was for Zim, and I'm for Zim because I hope he can bring that discipline in it. But I know times has changed. I know, and hopefully his coaching hasn't changed as far as what need to be done. It's gonna be interesting, y'all. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be very, very interesting. Free agency is what around the corner. What is it? March? Free agency in March. Now we done missed out on. Remember, I was telling you about that Bengals linebacker. We done missed out on some linebackers that could have really helped this team. They're gonna have to do it. Kendricks, I think he a little too old. Don't be bringing in these old ass linebackers. Zim, that's 2 steps slow. Dallas Cowboys don't need that. We need production there. We don't need these two unless you're gonna surround him. Unless you're gonna surround him with some speed and some big boys up front. Oh man, we need about 3 of them at least. Three. If we keeping Mozzie and Hank, we still need 3. We need 3. All big boys. Them Kevin Williams and Pat Williams type of big boys. So y'all remember them in Minnesota? Big Kevin Williams and Pat Williams, man. Minnesota always done had them big boys, man. Linval Joseph, man. Pierce, man. They always done had them big boys inside. Yeah, if they get Bobby, man, I think they might have been 2 years too late on Bobby. I can see the decline in him. He's still there, and it'd be nice to have that leadership. Because remember, I was saying we probably got to pay for leadership, and I still stand on that. You're gonna have to pay for some leadership. because they're not gonna get it within the organization. Ain't nobody if they ain't did it now, they ain't gonna do it with Zim there. They gonna have to go pay for somebody that's gonna lead. So you might gonna have to. So you might get somebody right that you look at play like but remember we got to look at it from a leadership point of view, and that's probably gonna come probably on the way of linebacker. Yep, because they gonna need about at least a couple vets coming in at linebacker, couple vets. If Zim's smart, Micah's gonna be playing a whole lot more linebacker, more than 50%, if he's smart. And I think Zim is gonna go ahead and probably rush Micah a lot in the A gaps, and then he'll come through maybe on the 3-4 and rush him outside. I can see that with Zim doing that. But all this, you playing edge the majority of the game, if Zim do that, Zim, he should get fired right then and there if Zim does that. Oh, man, I think I still see the linebacker coach still there. I'm trying to figure out why he ain't gone. And if Zim keep him, Zim, what the hell you looking at? Really? Man, Zim better not keep that scrub-ass linebacker coach. Them boys was not being coached. The coaching over here wasn't as good as people thought it was. It wasn't as good as people thought it was. Michael Burns out late. He ain't in shape in the way that he think that he is. That's the case. He said he did that so he can go ahead and be in better shape and so he could stay for later down the year. Remember he told us that? And if he burned out late, it didn't work. It didn't work not at all. It didn't work at all. That's why I say he just talked. What had Micah ever said that came to fruition? That has came to the light? I don't think y'all could probably think of anything that actually came to the light. He talked too damn much. And he don't back it up. But yeah, I'm about to get up out of here. I'm ready to get my workout in, y'all. Appreciate y'all for coming through. We gonna see. As mentioned in my other live from earlier, we get ready to look at these defensive ends. Probably some some that Zim gonna probably have to look at too. So that's why we started. It was good that we started with the defense early, so we can try to go through the defense thoroughly. Because once we knock the defense out and we do our offense, I want to come back to defense because that's going to be probably the most important, especially up front. To be honest with you, it need to be a defensive drive. You might can go ahead and maybe add an addition to the offensive line. But to be honest with you, that really should be it. It needs to be strictly defense because you have nothing. But all right, y'all. Till next time.